Hey there YouTube, it's PC the Unicorn. While January may be a dry month for animated films, especially good ones, there are plenty of animated shows that have debuted this month that are worth talking about. I've watched the first episode of each of these shows and I'll be sharing my initial thoughts about them, so let's get started. Created by Dana Terrace, who have worked on shows such as Gravity Falls as a storyboard artist, the show focuses on 14-year-old Luz Noceda, who ends up in a magical land known as the Boiling Isles and wants to become a witch. This show is very reminiscent of Gravity Falls with its dark humor, bizarre fantastical creatures, and the quirky nature of the characters. Yet despite the similarities, it's clearly going for its own thing, which I really enjoy. Luz is a very fun character that I personally relate to, since I also had a family member who always told me that I couldn't separate fantasy from reality, along with being told that I'm weird because of my interests and hobbies. So it really makes me happy that this show has a character that many people can find themselves relating to. Besides that, Luz is a very energetic and fun character whose love of fantasy and all things weird comes off as very charming. The other characters, Ida and King, are also just as great. I love Ida's carefree attitude, showmanship, and witty nature, along with how she's against the oppressive rules of the Boiling Isles. And King is an absolute riot, since watching him act like he's a tyrannical ruler with tremendous power but acts so childish is just hilarious. Though it's even more hilarious due to me headcanoning that King is simply Bill reincarnated form. The animation of this show is a joy to watch due to its fluidity and how the use of colors really make everything pop out. The background designs are also fantastic, and I especially love the shot that shows off the Boiling Isles, since you see all of these buildings living in the remains of a deceased ancient titan. Overall, Disney seems to have a hit on their hands, and I can't wait to see more of this show. Created by Aunt Blades, It's Pony is about a girl named Annie who gets into crazy adventures with a talking host named Pony. While the premise of a show about a human and a talking animal may be nothing new, it doesn't make the show bad by any means. Annie and Pony are both likable characters, and I find their friendship with each other to be very heartwarming. Of the two, Annie seems to be the brains of the duo, yet Pony isn't an idiot by any means, he's just very silly and a bit naive. The art style is something like that out of a Sunday comic with its heavy outlines, character designs, and its use of color. While the show didn't have me cracking up with laughter, it did make me chuckle a bit, especially when it would do a joke that I didn't see coming. If I had any complaints about the show based off the first episode, it's that it feels kind of slow. Even though the episode was only 11 minutes long, it felt like I was watching it for much longer. But maybe it was just the problem with that episode. While I wouldn't say I'm a fan of the series just yet, there's nothing bad about it and I could see it growing an audience. For Nickelodeon's first new animated show of the decade, they're off to a good start. Thundercats Roar is the newest incarnation of the Thundercats series, with the current series being created by Victor Courtwright and Marley Grayso. The show, you know what, I can't even stand talking about this show longer than I have to. The character designs are awful, the humor is unfunny with the exception of 3 genuinely funny moments, the pacing is ridiculously fast, and the characters feel like cardboard stereotypes. As someone who has no strong connection to the Thundercats franchise, with me only seeing a bit of the 2011 series, even I feel insulted by how this treats the franchise. Comedic spin-offs of action-oriented shows can actually be done well, since Ruby Chibi and even the Teen Titans shows from DC Nation prove this. Yet the series doesn't pull it off at all. I would rather watch Teen Titans Go, and I'm all done talking about the show. Next! Now here's a show I can actually be positive about. Created by Watford Seacrest, with the show being based off his webcomic, Kipo focuses on the title character who emerged from underground and ends up on the surface of the earth, which is now a post-apocalyptic future with it being ruled by sentient mutant animals. The premise actually reminds me of Spider-Man Unlimited a bit, though that's basically the only thing memorable about that series. While it starts off slow during the first half of the episode, it really picks up near the second half, and I found myself engaged in seeing how everything would play out. Kipo herself is a fun character who's your typical fish out of water character, since she's in a world she has no experience with except for the stories she heard about it. Because of this, she sees a lot of the beauty of the world, but also isn't fully aware of how dangerous it is. Yet that aspect of her character is what makes her fun to watch, along with how silly and awkward she can be. Though the standout character of the first episode is hands down Wolf. She's a very straightforward person who has no time for nonsense and have clearly been hardened due to having to survive on the surface. Yet you can tell that she does have a soft side, considering how she decides to help keep her out. While the art style did bug me at first, since I found the characters to be too angular and sharp, I got used to it very quickly. Though the area the show really shines is the fight choreography, which I wasn't expecting at all going into the show. It's very anime-esque and actually reminds me of the fight from the Boondocks. Kipo is yet another addition to Netflix's list of fantastic animated series. Of all the shows that premiered this month, the one I'm most excited to see more of is Owl House. Though I do recommend checking out It's Pony and Kipo, since both are enjoyable in different ways. Though don't even bother checking out Thundercats Roar unless you're very curious. So which animated show from January did you enjoy the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and click on the bell so you can be notified when I make new videos. If you want to follow me on social media, you can find the links to them in the description box below. Until next time, this is PC, logging off.